Year 4, Literacy, Writing a Dilemma Story. This week, you're going to have a go at writing your own dilemma story. Can you remember what a dilemma is? A dilemma is like a problem, an issue, something where the character in the story has to resolve the problem. That means they have to solve it. They have to find a solution. Now this week, you're going to be doing a little bit of your story each day, like we would normally do at school. So, essentially, you are going to be planning your story. Then you're going to write the story. And then you're going to edit it, which is a bit like checking it, isn't it, before you hand it in. Okay? So, you need to have a look in your packs, and you need to have a look for this first sheet, and it might be useful to have this sheet to see as well, the planning sheet. On this first sheet, I've given you a bit of an idea about how you could organise your week. I've given you day 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. And it says next to each day what you could do that day. Now, if you get more than one of these things done in one day, that's absolutely fine. It's not a problem. You might decide you can do it all in one day. It doesn't matter. I'm just trying to chunk the whole thing so you've got some sense of what you've got to do. So on day 1, it says, decide how you're going to start your story and what it's going to be about. You need to plan it. Day 2, you need to think and write about the setting, where your story is going to take place. Use really good adjectives, please, Year 4, to describe where the story takes place, where it starts, perhaps. You might even think about the fact that your story has 2 places. Then you could write a bit of description about both of them. You wouldn't necessarily use them in the same part of the story, but at least then you've got 2 chunks written. On day 3, I've suggested that's when you look at the characters and what they're up to, what they're like, what kind of person are they? Is there more than one? Have they got family? Where do they live? Things like that. What are they up to? Do they work? What sort of age are they? Are they funny? Are they a bit wild and crazy? On day 4, this is where the problem comes. Your character needs to come across some sort of a problem. It could be a natural problem, like an earthquake or a volcano or a tsunami, or it might be something completely different. It might be like a personal problem, like someone's told a secret and everyone's about to find out. You need to explain what the problem is with good detail. On day 5, that's when I've said you need to think about how your problem is going to be resolved. What kind of decisions does your character make? How do they resolve it? And then once they have resolved it, what happens then? So that's what you could do if you wanted to. Now, at the bottom of this piece of paper, there are some ideas on how to help you start your story. You might already have an idea on how you want to do it. So you could just use your own idea completely free and use the planning sheet on the next page just to draw it out. Number 2, this is something I've used before. It's a short film called Dangle, and it gives you like the start of a story. And I want to know, if you watch the video, what might happen next. So you might use the film itself to be your story starter, if you like. Number 3, you could use a bubble picture from any date, one of your favourite ones perhaps, and you could use that to help you with your story and use a story starter for the beginning of that. I know that you all like the bubble pictures, and so that's a pretty good way to go. The fourth one, well, that will tie it in a little bit more with our topic, the blue abyss. It suggests that you use these two links here about underwater dives. What might happen? What might go wrong in an underwater dive? Perhaps these people have gone on an adventure and something goes wrong during this adventure. The last one is like about a shark dive. So you might decide you want to have a look at to see what that might be like underwater. So it just gives you a bit more ideas for describing things. Have a look at Dangle. If you don't like it, then don't use it, but at least you've seen it. Even have a look at the two links about the underwater dives. And if you don't feel inspired by those, then perhaps go with a pobble. Okay? You might even choose to use a book that you've read before. Now on the next page, this is here to help you. These are the kind of questions we might normally talk about in class. So I've written them down here to get you thinking. Where did your story start? What is it like there? Is it inside or outside or underwater at the beginning? Describe it. We want you to write a cracking opener to get you started. And you can, if you want to, use this blue one I've got here. Then you need to introduce your characters and you can write about them in here. On the bottom, you've got the problem and some questions, and then how the story is resolved. Now, if you want to, on a completely different piece of paper, you could draw your story as a plan, a bit like a comic strip, which we've done lots of times now. This sheet really is here to help you generate ideas and to get you thinking. Either way, you can record your story, show me the comic strip, or you could have a really good go at writing the story. We hope you have some fun and we're really looking forward to reading and seeing your dilemma stories.